All right, everyone, and welcome to a weekend edition of Seminoles Sideline 365. Once again, my name is KB, and alongside me is the old man, Bruce. And we're not going to do pleasantries. There's a lot of news going on with Florida State, so we want to give you a quick weekend recap of the week that was and what's going on right now. And there's four things we really want to focus on today: uh, transfer updates, recommitments to the program, and potential rumors about one big commitment in the portal that may not be coming to Florida State. And that's what we're going to start with right now. So we'll talk about Verse, we'll talk about Johnny Wilson, the impacts that we think are there, as well as the addition of a specialist on the kicking game, which we're all kind of happy about. So we'll discuss the impact there. But the first thing we want to discuss is Darrell Jackson from Miami. He did not come in with the signees this weekend of the transfers and new high school early enrollees who came in this past weekend to enroll before classes. There is concern now swirling across all sites, Miami sites, Florida State sites, that they have been able to retain his services in Coral Gables. That Mario has put the full court press on him to keep him and stay because he is a talented guy and that they want to build around him. Potential that there has been NIL involved to keep him as well, and that they were able to steal him away because all he did was commit to Florida State. He didn't sign anything. There wasn't any, anything pen to paper that said he had to come to Florida State, right? And these decisions can be switched over. So once again, everything we're talking about now is rumor, but he was not on Florida State's campus for in terms of officially signing or starting enrolling classes, as far as we know, as of today on Saturday. And I think it's interesting too that they brought other guys in now on that defensive line. You had Braden Fisk, you got Verse coming back, you got Fabian Lovett coming back. Is that also affecting his decision? Does he want to be a rotational player? Did he think that 2 or 3 weeks ago when he committed, did he think he was going to be a primary starter in the middle of that line and be an impact player? Another thing to think about is a reason he was thinking of transferring was to be around his sick mother or a sick family member and wanted to be closer to home. Was he not able to get that waiver to play right away? Right. So could that be part of the process that hasn't come out yet? Was he denied that waiver to play right away? So he's saying, well, if I can't play right away, if I can't move, I might as well be able to stay in Miami, play, and then come back and see my family members when I can. Because I need to be able, I can get paid by NIL at Miami, play, and then see my family when I can. Bruce, what have you heard anything? What do you think this impact is? Thoughts?
Yeah, quickly on Darrell Jackson. I had not heard those rumors. So I think we're not here to start rumors. We're not here to spread rumors. We're not confirming anything, as you said, KB. I think you summarized it perfectly. Darrell Jackson, like any commit, we have commits for a class of 2024. Those commits can flip. We've seen that before. Darrell Jackson in the portal has not enrolled. The bottom line is not only signatures, but it's being enrolled. Jackson has not signed any paper that we're aware of. He is not, if you look, he's not committed to any NIL like Battle's End. There's no signees on that we're aware of. And he's clearly not enrolled early in classes, which begin next week. Okay. Yeah. So that is probably not a good sign for Darrell Jackson, but we do not know. We don't have any sources coming to us on this story beyond what we see out there that we scrutinize, which we do on social media.
Yeah. And this was seen as a key signing, like we talked about a few weeks ago, because of his impact on what was a terrible Miami team. 3 sacks, 4.5 for loss, 27 tackles. He started 12 games last season for them. He's 6'6", 300 pounds in that middle, and he had an impact for them on that pretty poor defense. And we thought coming into this system, someone who could push the pocket once again in the middle. And now, especially with Braden and boys like that coming in, and Fabian coming back, he could definitely be a strong rotational piece in this lineup. I'm wavering towards he may have not got that waiver approved, because remember, he started his career at Maryland, then came to Miami. This would be his third transfer in almost 3 years. So time will tell on that. But hopefully we can get things straightened out. Hopefully we can get him on board, because I think he would be a key piece to this team, even if he has to sit out a year. But time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think he's a make or break for this team in
He'd be
2023.
a strong depth piece.
He'd be another piece because I think we need some pieces there. And so if we lose him, I think they're going to go out and find another guy in the portal because there are some I would say decent, good defensive linemen still out there with experience.
Yeah, and you've seen that they've extended some offers to the guys from Utah State, and we can talk about it on another show.
And by
Like
the
you
way,
said,
I did tweet out there's a couple of quality defensive edge rushers that are out there. Now, how that affects it with Verse coming in,
well, and
Verse
that's
only plays one side,
let's go
remember?
right into that right
Yeah.
now. Then that's
Okay.
what I was going to bring up. Like you said, Florida State right before this announcement had offered Byron Vaughns out of Utah State, an impact player over there. And they have been going after the kid from Edmonds out of South Carolina, who they hosted the past weekend as well. So they've been heavily recruiting portal guys for the defensive end position to further add playmakers on that edge. But we got the announcement earlier today on January 7th that Jared Verse is in fact coming back for another year. How does that affect these guys that they're recruiting? Do they want additional bodies on that edge playmakers? Like you said, Jared Verse only plays one edge, but you do have other guys that are going to want to play, are going to push for playing time, like the Patrick Paytons, the Josh Farmers, guys like that who are going to want to continue to develop their own skills, as well as these guys that you're bringing in to play the position. So this is big news because you're getting a guy. I think this is a great call for him. When you look at his numbers compared to Jermaine Johnson's, who was obviously the 26th pick to the Jets last year, his numbers aren't the same as Jermaine Johnson's. I think Jermaine Johnson had more of a tool set. He had been more further developed. He had more in his repertoire.
And he had come from a more solid traditional system through the University of Georgia.
2 years there, a mild production there, and then he really popped off in his senior season at Florida State. Similar numbers in terms of tackles for loss. Jermaine had more overall solo tackles and I believe sacks. But that you could tell he just had more moves in his database to go to when he was trying to rush a guy on the edge. And I think this is a smart move because I think Verse could see if Jermaine went 26 and almost slipped out of the first round, I that could happen to me, even if I'm getting mock projections for top 15, top 20. That could easily be me. I could slip out of the second round. Now, and we've all discussed this. Let me come back. Let me continue to develop my skills on the edge, and also hook up with the collective that he got signed to. I think he announced today that he got signed to the one. What is the one that you just announced?
Battle's End.
Battle's End Collective.
The
Correct.
Battle's End. Yeah.
So he signed with that. That was announced as well. So that's part of this retainment is to get him back in. So he'll get his payment there, which is great. And he gets to make the push. Personal accomplishment for an ACC title with this team next year. So I think all know it works out for him, and he can put on tape why he should be a top 10 pick next season and get that big payday and not be set up to be a backup training camp piece for a team.
Yeah. First of all, some people in the media said they were very surprised by him coming out. I'm not surprised. I've said that consistently. I think you have too. I've been very consistent with that. He needs to come back. Mr. Verse may not realize, but this is probably a great development choice for himself for all the reasons you just talked about. He needs another year. He's not a Jermaine Johnson. I hope to hell they had a conversation, him and Jermaine, to see how hard it is at the next level, and you can disappear very, very quickly there. And remember, as I said, Jermaine Johnson, even though he wasn't seeing a lot of the playing time he wanted to see at Georgia, there was a reason for that. Because of the talent and the competition at the University of Georgia, and he's going up against elite offensive linemen every day in practice.
Yeah.
Jared Verse came from Albany State. Let's not forget, this is no disrespect to him, but he came through a different system. It was going to hurt him. He would have been probably slipping late to the second or third round, which is not what he wants. So, and this year, he did not put enough on tape to really impress general managers. General managers' careers are based on who they select. And if somebody bottoms out, doesn't make the team, that goes on the GM. That's how they come and go from organizations in that regard.
Yeah. And tell us in the comments. Do you agree? Do you agree with the old man and myself? Do you think he should have chased the money and gone maybe to be a first round pick and just chase the money, took the chance on himself, or do you think it's smart that he's coming back, get some development from Odell and the crew there, and chase the ACC title? I think most fans are going to be happy he's coming back. But what do you guys think he should have done?
Let's say this, KB. He did chase some money. He leveraged his options, okay? Yeah. And he might have known for a while he was not going to the league. So what he did, he leveraged that. I don't blame him. This is a business. Yeah. We've seen that from the Hamlin case of what happened to the Buffalo player. That, this can end. It can end in any one play. So he leveraged his options. I would say he's probably got to be the second highest NIL guy on this roster next to Jordan Travis.
Yeah, you would assume. And like you said, it's a violent sport. I hope, like you said, he's being compensated or he has the athlete insurance on him because, like you said, it could be over his career, at any second. We don't wish that. We just want him to take care of himself.
And you don't go on that. This is on average. On average, him coming back, developing, gives him a better opportunity.
That's what I believe. And like I said, this is our comments. This is our analysis on it. I do believe this will help him to be more of a lock for the top 15 versus you don't know what's going to happen, right? You could be Jermaine, you could be the 26th pick, you could be a early second round. I think this will help guarantee him.
What is the impact that a Jared Verse coming back to this defense has for 2023? Because that's what all our viewers and all the fans really want to know is what is the impact? Well, it has a significant impact. And if he can stay healthy and really develop those skills, he can be the difference maker in one or two games of a win or a loss, potentially in a close game.
And I think especially now with the tools that they've had, like the Braden Fist, if Darrell Jackson can come, Fabian Lovin coming back, he is not going to be able to be double teams majority of the time anymore. You're going to have to respect the other guys that they're bringing to this defensive line, which I think is another reason probably why he came back, because he says, well, now I'll get more single teams. I develop more of my tools. I can show them off and I can hit my, jump my numbers up. So I think he's seen what the moves that Florida State has done in the portal to address the needs on that defensive line where there were some deficiencies, I think we can all say. But I think he saw the moves they're making and he's like, well, I can shine on this defensive line even more with the moves that they have to bring talent on this line now. And so I think it's a huge impact. And I think we'll see that impact. Like you said, they're going to have a couple of different weapons on this defensive line. I'm so excited to see Braden Fisk in the middle of the line, him on the edge, along with the talent. Like you said, we have such a depth at this position, I think, that are just willing, that will further develop in the spring, in the winter, and will be ready to shine come the fall, that you'll be able to rotate guys in. And I don't think they're done. I think they want to bring a couple more guys in who are willing to be rotational pieces because, playing at Utah State versus Florida State, even if you're a full-time, Utah State guy, you're going to get more TV attention playing at Florida State than you will at Utah State. Let's just be honest. So that's why I believe that they're still going to try to build depth in this room, telling guys that, hey, we rotate a lot of guys in and out. You're going to be able to make your impact on
guys get hurt
very early. Exactly. And you're going to have the ability in prime time to make your impact felt early. You just have to put the work in, and you're going to do it in a major conference. So I think they will continue to go after this, even with this announcement. Go after the kid Edmonds from South Carolina. Go after the kid Vaughn. I told you about
I like
Utah
Vaughn.
State.
I like this Vaughn. He's got good numbers. He's got the experience. They played a good, decent schedule.
And first got banged up last year.
This is what happens.
He could opt out at any time next year too. So you have to be aware of that. Next year is his money year. He knows that. So if he thinks like, oh, I don't like the way this is going or things go sideways, he could opt out mid-season. So you have to have a contingency plan in place in case he decides to opt out. So I like I said, I think they continue to try to build on this defensive line and build talented depth.
It's a really good thing. It's a really good thing when you're trying to figure out how do I get guys on the field. That's a good thing. Okay, it's hard for a coaching staff, because you've got guys that have now developed. That's the job of the coaches, to bring in guys, to develop them and try to figure out playing time on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a good thing versus a bad thing. But Verse does add to this defense. You've got Patrick Payton and you've got Derek McClendon on the other side, who aren't as strong as Verse. But we do need to bring in one more edge rusher and maybe one more interior lineman, in my opinion.
I would definitely agree with you on that. Yeah, definitely agree with you on. So I think we can look at that. But let us know in the comments. Do you think this is the right move for Verse, wrong move for Verse, or what do you think the impact is on the depth of the Florida State defensive line, and B, how do you think it affects their attacking the portal? Do you think they continue to go after these guys and try to sign additional bodies, or do you think that they're done? They got the talent back. And now talking about retainment. And Florida State, I think, has done a fantastic job of retaining the top players that potentially could have gone pro. Because you never know. Players go pro all the time. And some of
the goal is to go pro. That's the goal. But the goal is when do I go?
Sometimes you're like, why did this guy go? Like in years past, for some Florida State guys, I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, but Johnny Wilson, once again, I don't think either of us was surprised when that breaking news came out across Twitter, and every Florida State site was like, breaking news. Johnny, if you thought he was leaving,
called it.
Exactly. I think if you thought he was leaving, we're not on the same page, but I'm glad he's coming back. Like I said, he wasn't going to transfer because once again, he would have had to sit out, and he wasn't going pro because one great game at the end of the season is not going to make him an NFL player yet. I think he knows, and I think we all know, he needs to continue to develop his kind of catching ability and become a more well-rounded receiver. He has the physical tools to be to potentially an elite receiver at the college level, and potentially a good to good plus receiver at the pro level, in my mind, just because of his physical assets. And I'm so glad he's coming back. I think he once again made a smart money move because he's part of the collective now, Battle's End, and B, he gets to further develop in college with coaches with more one-on-one coaching and do it weight room, like I said, physical training as well as the drill training, and really develop as a more well-rounded player. He's still super raw in my eyes, and I think this is a smart move.
He's had one good year,
and I'd say it was, like you said, a good to average year for. Like he's still, like you said, there's games he disappeared, games he showed up, like the Cheez-It Bowl.
Here's what he's accomplished this season. He has shown scouts, you need to pay attention to me.
Yeah,
you need to pay attention to me.
He's on the radar.
Okay. He also showed scouts some stuff he shouldn't have showed them. Yeah. Some dropped balls. They look at the drop balls more than the caught passes. You know what? They expect you to catch all the passes.
Consistency.
Okay, when the ball is right there, you must catch it or you will not be on the field. Yep. You imagine Tom Brady throwing him a couple of passes and he drops it? Guess who Tom Brady's not throwing the ball to anymore? Yep. That's how these quarterbacks work, and the head coaches will tell their position coach, don't put the guy on the field, or they'll cut you. We know in the NFL, they will cut you after one play. One play, they will cut you if necessary.
Well, imagine how many different skill players are trying to compete for that top 3 receiver positions. Think about all the Florida State greats that came through this program that couldn't make it at the NFL. Like Rashad Green, he made for a season, I think.
Auden Tate.
Exactly.
Look at Kevin Benjamin wasn't around long after winning the national championship for us.
Well, that's a guy, like you said, I was thinking about, probably should have come back. Probably should have, but like you said, rode the wave and went pro.
NFL, not for long.
Exactly. So I think he's making a smart move. I think he's a smart kid. Like you said, he's a humble kid, doesn't show.
He's a nice kid.
I think it's a great move for him, and I think he has a limited potential.
I have him as number 3 on the Florida State NIL list. He's number 3. Yeah. And now remember, the NIL, we're not getting into that now tonight, it's kind of like free agency. Baseball, basketball, whoever gets. And I don't think that these NIL deals are not broadcast out there anywhere because I believe they're locked down.
They're just estimated.
They don't want these
people
kids
give estimated values and stuff.
Right. But yeah, you see that stuff, which means nothing. So what it means is, good thing it's locked out because each kid would go, well, Jordan Travis got X. I need to be the next guy.
Like the Office.
See that
it's like the
NFL.
Office.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Office. You don't tell me how much you're getting paid because then I want that too.
Now, I am shocked that some of these amounts, fixed amounts haven't come out. But I think in contracts, as you know, KB, you work in the business world, you can put it should not be disclosed in these contracts.
Yeah, absolutely. But the last thing before we move on to Darrell Wilson and receivers, I said on Twitter, or I think I messaged somebody, but I said I think the best hands on the team who's graduated and moving on is Pokey Wilson. I think he had the best hands of any receiver on that team last year.
I agree.
And I hope someone picks him up and gives him a shot.
I didn't understand. It looks like he has signed a deal with the USFL or the XFL. I thought
that was Bobo Wilson. That was Bobo Wilson.
That was Bobo Wilson. Okay.
No, he's going to take a shot at the NFL. I hope he gets a shot because I think he had the most consistent.
I think he will get a shot.
Anybody.
I think he will go to a team that needs that smaller possession, third down possession. Get me the 8 yards. Receiving like the Patriots used to use some of those guys for.
I like Pokey a lot.
Oh, great hands! And if he can show them, I can catch every pass. I'm there.
Yeah,
so he has well developed.
Tell us in the chat. Do you agree? Right position, right call by Johnny to come back for another year and continue to develop. Do you think he should have taken that 200-yard game, Cheez-It Bowl, and rode that wave to the NFL? Let us know in the chat. And do you think Pokey has the best hands on the team? Let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear comments on that.
And please don't forget, because we don't ask for it a lot. Some people have told us, you guys don't ask it a lot. Please hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please do that. Hit the like, thumbs up button, and leave us a comment. We love doing this, and we love doing it for you guys, and we do it, and we want to hear from you.
Absolutely. And then the last thing we want to talk about today, because we want to keep this quick and short, is the special teams. We had debated this and thought about, okay, is Florida State going to address the special teams in the offseason, bring in competition? And some people, I remember in our chat, had brought up, maybe on a non-scholarship. You had talked about bringing a scholarship.
I said that.
No, someone in the chat said not like a preferred walk-on. I think you said you wanted to bring a scholarship. You said scholarship.
Yeah.
But
I would give a scholarship.
Well, Norvell brought in. He got somebody. He brought in Tyler Keltner from Eastern Tennessee. Who, like I said, once again, I think at a minimum it brings competition to the room. You have a guy I think our criteria was a guy that has experience kicking the ball. And it can bring competition. Those are the two things. This guy brings experience and can bring competition to the room. It's not just one guy on the zone where if he's on a 10-kick cold streak, you have to then go for it on 4th and 10, or you have to punt the ball. Like, now you have a guy in the room. And the best thing is you got him on the preferred walk-on status. So you didn't have to fill a scholarship. You can use that scholarship other places down the portal. So this guy is coming back home. He's a Tallahassee native, which is great. And I'm not going to say he necessarily raises the talent level of the room. He's a 73% kicker. Isn't great. Isn't awful, right? Hits 3/4 of the time almost.
And he's hit long ones.
Yeah, he has. I don't think he didn't hit a 50-yarder last year.
No.
But like you said, he was pretty accurate within 40 yards, 40 to 50 yards in that kind of 40, 49 range. And I think this was a must pick up by your team.
And you've got a 5-star guy kicker coming in 2024 class.
Exactly. So this is a good bridge to that.
And this guy's 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. So like you said, I think they addressed the need here. I think it's a great pickup. It's a good article by Tomahawk Nation covering it. But I think this is, so if you want some background, I think this is a great pickup by Norvell and staff. At a minimum, brings competition, and I think this will raise the talent level potentially of what you already have. So kudos to the team there.
I totally agree with your comments, KB. And the main thing is competition. Yeah, I said that in a tweet several days ago. There was no competition in that special team.
Yeah, Fitzgerald. That's the thing. If Fitzgerald was on a cold streak, or it's hard in any business, right? If you're in sales, if you're in any kind of competitive department or industry, if you have no competition, there's nothing to drive you. And that's not to say Fitzgerald was just lazy all day and he didn't care. He obviously
they had one other kicker in there, but he was mainly used for some of the kickoffs, or he hasn't done much.
They didn't have a field goal kicker that could compete, right, to my knowledge there. So, like I said, These are his numbers. These are things he posted as he went to the portal to put up there. Like
that's his profile.
Yeah, his profile.
He
Career numbers for him: 78% in 2021. And like you said, it was about 73%, I think, in 2022. But like you said, not elite, not bad though. He
has not kicked in front of 60 to 70,000 people. Now let's remember, he has not kicked on a big stage. He has not kicked on national TV. Probably did he make any against Miami in that game where they blew Miami away?
That's a good question.
And there wasn't a lot of people in the stands for that game probably either because they expected Miami to win. But I'd love to know.
No, that was Middle Tennessee. That was Middle Tennessee.
Oh, that's Middle Tennessee. I'm sorry. This is Eastern Tennessee. The bottom line is, can he do it when the lights are bright, shiny, and there's 60,000 people screaming at you? The bottom line is the room has competition now between Fitz, who we love. We love Fitz. He finished on a great note, and this will drive him to get better. Fitz has the potential and the ability. He would not be at Florida State, okay? But this drives the competition.
Absolutely. I think those are the big news and notes that I wanted to cover tonight. Like I said, continue to watch us, subscribe, get alerts, because we'll try to do these hot take shows to give our analysis on what's happening with Florida State. And I guess just a quick shout out to Coach Ham and the Florida State basketball team. Struggling mightily this year. But what did Coach Ham get? His 600th career win
600.
Tonight? So congrats to him and the men's team. I know they're struggling. But it's
and along with that, KB, along with that, our new addition to our staff, our basketball analyst, is going to be doing his first initial show real soon, within probably 7 days.
So stay tuned for that. But I think that's it for now. Like I said, let us know in the comments what you think about Verse coming back, about the Darrell Jackson rumors. What are you hearing? What do you think he's coming or not? And then Johnny
and our
Wilson,
new kicker, Tyler Keltner.
Yeah, do you think he starts next year? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear and discuss with you. We'll see you soon. We'll have some new content out next week. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and we'll see you soon, guys. Have a great weekend.